So good day once again. So welcome back to our next lecture session on listening. So this is a continuation of our topic on listening. So listening. Listening as a process requires attention in order to have full understanding of what is being communicated. However, not all those being communicated are not properly transferred nor properly understood, depending on varying levels of listening. For our next lesson, we shall be tackling about the different levels of listening. So let's have this example. So hi everyone, I will be helping you to understand the different levels of listening. Hi sir, can you join your class? Oh, my favorite student here. Of course, you can join my class. Thanks, sir. I miss listening in your class. Anyway, here are the levels of listening. The different levels of listening. So we have ignoring, pretending, selective listening, attentive listening, sympathetic listening, and empathic listening. So let's try to differentiate these different levels. Okay. So what is ignoring? Okay, so the listener does not show interest to listen. For example, a student who is not paying attention to his teacher during the class discussion. That is disrespectful. That is why it is considered as the lowest level of listening. Understand? Understand, sir. So the next level of listening is pretending. So before we move on to the second level, we talk of the first level. It's ignoring. It's entirely from the term itself, ignoring. It is entirely not paying attention of what the person is telling you. Let's say, for example, during the class discussion, and while the teacher is discussing the class, then one of the students would just do something that would distract the class. Let's say, for example, playing on his or her cell phone during the class discussion. That shows that the person is or that student is ignoring the class. Now, the next level of listening is what we call pretending. Okay, so from the term itself, the listener would just like to show that he or she is listening. That is why it is also called listening on the eye level. So it is way better than ignoring. So what do you think is the reason? Because the listener only just pretends to listen for the purpose of showing respect to the person who is speaking. It's far better from ignoring, wherein you're totally not paying attention to what the person is saying. So some or many of you have already done this during the class discussion, wherein while the teacher is talking in front of the class, and then you would just pretend that you're listening. You just do something like this, or then you would nod as if you really understand what the teacher is saying, which is fact that you are just pretending to understand what the teacher is saying. And when the teacher would like to ask someone to explain, and then you would not have a direct eye contact with your teacher because you're avoiding your teacher that he or she might call you to recite. Because again nga, you're just pretending that you're listening. It's way better than ignoring because again, in pretending, you're still showing respect to the person who's speaking in front of you, or if that is a class discussion, you're showing respect to your teacher. So even though the listener does not understand entirely what the person is saying, still what matters most is you are showing your respect to your teacher. So if you understand that, you are getting sharper. Okay, let us move on. So the next level is what we call selective listening. So what is selective listening? So the listener chooses only the person or what he or she wants to listen. You're picky who you would like to listen to or what the kind of things that you would like to listen. Let's say when you're choosing a music, you are selective. What kind of music you would like to listen? Or if you're talking to someone, there are many people who would like to listen to this person, but you don't like to listen to this person. We have our different reasons why we want to listen to this person and why we don't want to listen to this person. So that is selective listening. So okay, so when you're choosing which music you want to listen, just like what I mentioned to you a while ago, excellent. So that is an example of selective listening. Okay, so again, that's selective listening. You choose who you would like to listen to or what you would like to listen to. Then the next level of listening is what we are doing right now. And how come, sabi niya? All I do is just to listen to you attentively, just like what you're doing right now. As Sir Batch is discussing the lesson, I'm hoping that you're listening attentively to this discussion because that's the next level or what we call the attentive listening. So in this level of listening, you are paying attention on what your teacher is saying. And if you're paying attention of what Sir Batch is discussing right now, then you are on that level right now. So, sana ganito rin sabihin ninyo, I listen attentively because I am interested in our topic and because I want to comprehend on what you're sharing to me. I hope that that's one thing that you're thinking right now. And that's the reason why you are listening attentively to Sir Batch. So on this level, you are listening from the ears to process in the mind because in pretending you're just listening at the eye level because you're just pretending, although you're just pretending, you're not processing what your teacher is saying. But in attentive listening, um, it is listening from the ears to processes in the mind. So sabi niya rito, I heard from other people that we have to listen to one's heart. Is that still part of the level of listening? Sabi niya. Yes, that is what we call sympathetic listening. So that's we're now proceeding on the next level. So in attentive listening, you now process what the person is telling you. Just like during the class discussion, as I discuss about this topic, you are now trying to process about the different types of listening. Okay, that is an example of of attentive listening. But for sympathetic listening, it is now listening to one's heart. Listening to one's heart. So, for example, your friend, just like our previous example, your friend is sad and your friend needs someone to talk to. And then you're just there listening to your friend. Although you might not be putting yourself in the shoes of your friend, but still your presence is very important. And if you can follow me, you are making me more to amaze you. Okay, because sabi niya, sana ganito rin sagot niya, because I am listening. So what is sympathetic listening specifically? Yan. On this level of listening, the listener listens to show compassion to others. You show compassion to others. Your presence is very important, that it alleviates the sadness or lessen the sadness of the person. Okay, so is that the highest level of listening? No, it's not yet the highest level of listening, because the highest level of listening is termed as the emphatic listening. I have already introduced to you the term emphatic listening. So what is emphatic listening then? So it's more than just listening to others. It is also a way of showing to a person that you are someone whom the person can lean on in times of difficulties. But not only that, It is showing a deeper compassion and genuine heart because it's a lot deeper from sympathetic listening. Just like when my friend broke up with his girlfriend for 10 years. I was with him trying to console him that everything will be all right. I helped him to move on. I think that can also be considered as showing empathy with your friend, just like what this person is telling us. Okay, let us see if you really learn from our lessons. I'll be showing you some examples. Okay. Identify which level of listening is described on the following situations. Are you now ready? Okay. Always ready, sir. Kausap ko lagi sa sarili ko. Okay. So, a church leader is listening to a confession of one of their church members. What do you think is this type of listening? A church leader is listening to a confession of one of their church members. So, is it selective, attentive, or sympathetic? Attentive listening. So it is a not attentive listening, it is sympathetic listening. Okay, so as you can see from the icon, so sympathetic listening, so it's pointing sympathetic listening. Next, here is our next question. A student was busy scribbling on his notebook instead of focusing on the discussion. What do you think is kind of listening? Is it ignoring, pretending, or sympathetic listening? Ang sagot niya, I'm kind of like this. Sometimes it is ignoring. Okay, so it is correct. It is ignoring. Yeah. Next, correct. How about this? The secretary is listening carefully during the meeting because he is tasked to write the minutes of the meeting. So what kind of listening is this? Or what level of listening is this? Is it selective, attentive, or sympathetic? Let's see. Ang sagot niya ay, because I listen to you, the correct answer is attentive listening. Is this correct? So let's see. Yes, it is attentive listening. Okay, this icon is pointing attentive listening. Then, how many items did you get correctly? So you have filled in again your bean with Sir Batch Learning. And thank you very much for taking your time and for listening to our class discussion.